The steady beep of the heart monitor slowly pulled Anna out of her medicated haze. Her throat felt raw like sandpaper, and the bright fluorescent lights above made her eyes throb with pain. She struggled to piece together the events that had brought her here, but all she could remember was collapsing at work. Her name was Anna, and this certainly wasn't how she had planned to spend her Tuesday afternoon. "You're awake." David's voice came from the left. Her husband of 15 years stood there impeccably dressed in his suit, but something was different. He didn't rush to her side or ask how she was doing. Instead, he kept his distance, hands clasped behind his back, as if preparing for a formal presentation. "What happened?" Anna croaked, her throat dry. "Severe dehydration and exhaustion," he replied, his tone detached. "The doctors want to run more tests." Anna nodded, attempting to meet his gaze, but he wouldn't look at her. After 15 years of marriage, she knew every small detail of his behavior. The way he shifted from foot to foot, the way his eyes would meet hers, the subtle tremor in his otherwise confident voice. "David?" She said his name softly, and when he finally looked at her, she saw something in his eyes that made her heart skip a beat. "I can't do this anymore, Anna." "What do you mean?" But deep down, she already knew. She had sensed it for months, his long hours at work, the emotional distance that had crept into their dinners together. Us. He gestured vaguely between them. "I want a divorce." The beeping of her heart monitor quickened. A nurse poked her head into the room, but David waved her off with his usual charm, still so focused on maintaining appearances. "You're telling me this now, while I'm lying in a hospital bed?" Her voice cracked, but she refused to let him see her cry. "I thought it would be easier," he said, as though breaking someone's heart could ever be easy. "More controlled." Anna almost laughed bitterly. Of course he wanted to control this, just like everything else in their marriage. But something didn't sit right with her, the urgency of doing this now, here, while she was vulnerable. "There's someone else, isn't there?" His silence confirmed it. The heart monitor returned to a steady rhythm, but inside Anna felt her world crumble. 15 years of memories, promises, and shared dreams dissolving in the cold hospital air. "Her name is Sarah," he finally admitted. Anna raised her hand, silencing him. "Get out." He hesitated, his mouth opening as though he had more to say, but she turned away, staring out the window at the sinking sun. She could hear the click of his shoes across the floor, and then the door shutting softly behind him. Only then did she allow herself to cry, wondering how she would ever explain to their daughter that her father had just shattered their world in a hospital room on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. Coming home from the hospital felt like walking into someone else's life. Everything looked the same. The family photos on the walls, Lily's backpack thrown carelessly by the stairs, even David's coffee mug still sitting on the kitchen counter, but nothing felt right anymore. She found Lily in her room, headphones on, homework spread across her bed. When she saw her, her face lit up for a moment before darkening with concern. "Mom, are you okay?" She pulled her headphones off. "Dad said you were sick, but he wouldn't tell me anything else." Of course he wouldn't. He'd leave the hard conversations to her, just like always. "I'm fine, just overdid it at work." Anna sat on the edge of her bed, noticing the dark circles under her eyes. "Have you been sleeping?" She shrugged, fidgeting with her pencil. "I heard you and Dad fighting last week about the yoga studio downtown." Her stomach clenched. The yoga studio where Sarah worked, where David had been spending his late nights at the office. "It's complicated, honey." "I'm not stupid, Mom." Lily's voice cracked. "Something's wrong. Dad barely comes home anymore. And when he does, you both act weird. Like now you're doing that thing with your hands." Anna looked down to find herself twisting her wedding ring, just like her grandmother Eleanor used to twist hers when she was upset. The memory of her hit her hard, her wisdom, her strength. What would she say about all this? You're right, Anna said finally. Things are changing. Your father and I. Her phone buzzed. A text from Tom. Found something you need to see. Check your email. Mom? Sorry, sweetie, give me 1 second. She opened her email and froze. There were photos, dozens of them. David and a young woman with perfect yoga-toned arms, leaving restaurants, sharing intimate moments. The timestamps went back months. Is that Dad? Anna hadn't heard Lily move behind her. Quickly, she locked the phone, but it was too late. She'd seen enough. He's leaving us, isn't he? Her voice was small, younger than her 14 years. Before she could answer, they heard the front door open. David's voice called up the stairs, Lily! I thought we could grab dinner. Lily's face hardened in a way no child should. I have homework, she shouted back, then turned to her. I found something in Grandma Eleanor's old desk yesterday. A letter for you, I think. I think maybe she knew this would happen. She pulled an envelope from her desk drawer, Eleanor's elegant handwriting spelling out her name. As she took it, she heard David's footsteps on the stairs, coming to play his role as the caring father while his other life waited in a downtown yoga studio. Her hands trembled as she opened the letter, wondering what final wisdom her grandmother had left to guide her through this mess. Anna met Tom at their usual spot, the corner booth at Joey's Diner, where they'd spent countless high school afternoons plotting their futures. Now, 20 years later, they were plotting something entirely different. You're sure about these? She spread the photos across the table, careful to keep them away from her coffee cup. Each one felt like a fresh punch to the gut. Tom ran a hand through his messy hair. There's more to this. The yoga studio, it's not just where they met. David's company bought the building 3 months ago, at a price well below market value. Let me guess, around the same time the affair started? Anna replied, already feeling the weight of the story unfolding. Actually, Tom pushed a document toward her. The purchase was finalized 2 months before that. Sarah Jensen was the previous owner. The name hit Anna like a punch to the gut. Hearing it made everything more tangible, giving form to the shadow that had been lurking over her marriage. She sold it to him for a fraction of its worth, and now she's teaching there, living in the upstairs apartment rent-free. The bell above the diner door jingled, and a young woman in yoga pants walked in, radiating confidence with perfect posture and glowing skin. Their eyes briefly met, but the woman quickly looked away, rushing to the counter. That's her, isn't it? Anna whispered. Tom nodded, his gaze never leaving her. She looks no older than 26, maybe 27. She looked scared, Anna murmured, surprising herself with the observation. Anna? Tom reached for her hand across the table but stopped just short of touching it. There's something else. The inheritance from Eleanor, it's huge. Life-changing, really. But there are conditions. What conditions? Anna was about to press further when her phone buzzed. A message from Lily read, Dad's here. He's packing up his stuff. Says he's staying at a hotel. Mom, please come home. Anna jumped to her feet, spilling her coffee as she grabbed her purse. As she turned, Sarah had just finished ordering her green smoothie and their eyes locked again. This time, Sarah didn't look away. I'm sorry, Sarah mouthed silently, and Anna froze. There was something in her expression, fear, guilt, or was it a warning? Tom, I need you to do one more thing for me, Anna said, her attention still fixed on Sarah. Find out everything you can about that property deal. Something's not right. Already on it. Tom gathered the photos quickly, his concern evident. But Anna, be careful. The numbers I'm seeing this could be bigger than just an affair. Anna rushed out, her grandmother's unopened letter burning a hole in her purse. Whatever Eleanor had known, whatever warning she had left behind, Anna had a sinking feeling she was about to uncover it the hard way. Back at the hospital for follow-up tests, Anna found herself in the same room where David had dropped his bomb, but this time she wasn't alone. Mr. Henderson, the elderly man from the next room, had wheeled himself in for a visit. "You look troubled, young lady," he said, placing a worn leather book on her bedside table. "Like someone reading a story they can't quite understand." Anna picked up the book, Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. The spine was cracked from years of reading. "My late wife's favorite," he explained. "A story about secrets destroying a marriage, though sometimes the secrets protect us more than we know." Before she could respond, her phone buzzed. A text from Tom. "Found something. The yoga studio deal, it's connected to 3 other properties, all sold below market value, all to shell companies. Call me ASAP. Bad news." Mr. Henderson asked. "I'm not sure yet." She set the phone down, her hands shaking. "How did you know when your wife was keeping secrets?" He smiled sadly. "I didn't. That was my mistake, assuming her secrets were about hurting me when really, she was trying to protect our family from something bigger than us both." A knock at the door interrupted them. Sarah Jensen stood there looking nothing like the confident yoga instructor from the diner. "I'm sorry," she said quickly before she could speak. "I know I shouldn't be here, but—" She glanced nervously down the hallway. "There's something you need to know about David, about the properties." Mr. Henderson wheeled himself toward the door. "I believe this is my cue to leave. Remember what I said about secrets, Mrs. Carson. Sometimes the story we think we're reading isn't the one we're living at all." As he left, Sarah moved closer, her voice barely a whisper. "David's not just buying properties. There's money moving through them. Bad money. I didn't know at first, I swear, but when I figured it out—" "That's why you're really with him?" The pieces started falling into place. "To get evidence," she nodded, tears in her eyes. "But he's figured out that I know. Yesterday, She pulled up her sleeve, revealing dark bruises. "I'm scared, Anna. Not just for me." Her phone buzzed again, this time a text from Lily. "Mom, Dad's acting weird. He's going through Grandma Eleanor's old office boxes. Says he needs to find some papers." The letter, Eleanor's inheritance, the property deals suddenly. Anna understood what her grandmother had been trying to tell her. This wasn't just about a failing marriage or a younger woman. This was about something much darker, and Eleanor had known all along. "Sarah," Anna said, her voice steadier than she felt. "Tell me everything." The Riverside restaurant was David's choice. Expensive, public, and perfectly calculated to keep Anna in check. She arrived early, Eleanor's letter and Tom's financial documents tucked safely in her purse. Through the window, she watched David's Tesla pull up, but he wasn't alone. Sarah stepped out first, wearing a designer dress that probably cost more than her monthly salary. "So much for keeping up appearances," Tom muttered beside her. "Bold move. You sure you want to do this here?" Before Anna could respond, they walked in. David's usual practiced smile faltered when he saw Tom. "I didn't realize this was a group dinner," he said, sliding into the booth. Sarah lingered, hesitant, before finally sitting beside him. "Funny, I was about to say the same thing." Anna slid Eleanor's old property records across the table, her voice steady. "Want to explain why you're so interested in these?" David's jaw tightened at the sight of the papers. "You've been going through Eleanor's files?" "No," Anna replied coolly. "You have. Lily told me about your little treasure hunt." She watched his face closely. "Did you find what you were looking for?" Sarah's hand trembled as she reached for her water glass, the sleeve of her dress sliding up to reveal fresh bruises. "Anna." David leaned forward, lowering his voice into that smooth, controlling tone she used to mistake for concern. "Whatever you think you know." "I know about the money laundering," Anna cut him off. "The shell companies, the properties. Eleanor knew too, didn't she? That's why she put that clause in her will." David's face drained of color, and Sarah's glass slipped from her hand, spilling water across the white tablecloth. "You don't understand what you're dealing with," David whispered, his voice tense. These people, Tom interrupted. "The ones buying properties through your shell companies, the ones Eleanor was investigating before she died." Died? The word hung in the air like smoke, and suddenly, Anna's grandmother's heart attack last year seemed much less natural. "Mom!" Lily's voice sliced through the tense silence as she stood at their table, her school backpack still on. "What's going on?" "Lily, Anna began, but she stopped when she saw her daughter's expression. "What are you doing here?" "I followed Dad." Lily's voice cracked, her eyes full of hurt. "I heard him on the phone earlier. He said something about making sure you didn't become a problem, like Eleanor." David's hand reached for her, his voice soft but commanding. "Sweetheart, don't touch me," Lily shouted, backing away in horror, colliding with a waiter. Plates crashed to the floor, and in the ensuing chaos, Anna saw something shift in David's expression. It wasn't anger or shame, it was fear. And not of her, but of something much bigger, something that had already claimed Eleanor. Anna grabbed Lily's hand and Tom's arm, her voice firm. "We're leaving now." "Anna, wait!" David's voice called after them, but she didn't slow down. She was done waiting, done being the quiet, understanding wife. Her grandmother had died protecting their family from whatever David had gotten tangled in. Anna wouldn't make the same mistake. Tom's safe house turned out to be a small cabin just outside the city. As Lily and Anna slept on the worn couch, she showed Tom the documents. "You need to see this," she said, handing the pages to Tom. He scanned them, his face growing darker. Eleanor was gathering evidence against David's partners. Property records, bank statements. She knew they were using his developments to launder money. A car door slammed outside. Through the window, she saw Sarah hurrying toward the cabin, looking over her shoulder. "Don't," Tom warned, but she was already opening the door. "They killed her," Sarah blurted out, mascara streaking her cheeks. "Eleanor." She confronted them about the yoga studio deal, and She pressed a USB drive into her hand. "Everything's here, the proof Eleanor collected. I've been helping her for months." "You knew?" Her voice cracked. "All this time?" "She recruited me after they threatened my sister, said she needed someone on the inside." Sarah's hands shook. "The affair was her idea to get close to David, to protect you and Lily." The floor seemed to tilt beneath her. "My grandmother arranged your affair with my husband?" "Mom." Lily stood in the doorway, eyes wide. "Someone's coming." Headlights swept across the cabin windows, multiple vehicles. "It's them," Sarah whispered. "David told them everything at the restaurant about the will, the evidence. Get in the bathroom," Tom ordered, grabbing his phone. "Both of you now." She pulled Lily close, hurrying her toward the back. "What about you?" "I'll stall them. My security system's already alerted the police. Go!" The bathroom was tiny, barely big enough for the three of them. She held Lily against her, feeling her heart race as footsteps approached the cabin. "I'm sorry," Sarah whispered. "I tried to help Eleanor protect you, but I made everything worse." "Mom?" Lily's voice quivered. "Is that them out there?" Before she could answer, they heard the front door splinter. Tom's voice, then David's, rising in an argument. A sudden crash, a gunshot. Lily stifled a scream against her shoulder. Anna pressed Eleanor's USB drive into her hand, remembering her grandmother's final words in the letter. "Sometimes protecting those we love means letting go of who we thought they were." More footsteps approached the bathroom. David's voice, closer now. "Anna, don't make this harder than it needs to be." She looked at her daughter's terrified face, at Sarah's bruises, thought of Eleanor's sacrifice, all the women hurt by men who claimed to love them. The bathroom doorknob began to turn. The bathroom door burst open, and there stood David. but not the polished businessman she had married. His suit was wrinkled, hair wild, a gun trembling in his hand. "Where's the drive?" His voice cracked. Behind him, she glimpsed Tom on the cabin floor, clutching his shoulder, blood seeping between his fingers, still alive, still fighting. "Dad, please," Lily whispered. Something flickered in David's eyes, doubt, fear, maybe even shame. But then a deeper voice called from the living room. "Handle it, Carson, now." Anna stepped forward, pushing Lily behind her. "You killed my grandmother." "I didn't," David started. "You let them kill her." Her voice stayed steady, channeling Eleanor's strength. "She trusted you. We all did. You don't understand these people. They own everything. The properties, the businesses." His hand shook harder. "They own me." Sirens wailed in the distance. Sarah moved suddenly, grabbing for the gun. They struggled, and Anna seized the moment, shoving them both back. Lily darted past, running for Tom. The gun skittered across the floor. "It's over, David," Anna said, standing between him and the others. Eleanor made sure of that. His face contorted. The evidence died with her. "No," she smiled, thinking of her grandmother's cleverness. "It's been in plain sight all along. Every property deed, every transaction, hidden in the library's special collections, in books you never bothered to read." The sirens grew closer. Heavy footsteps pounded through the cabin. "You're lying!" he snarled, lunging for her. But she was done being afraid, done being the quiet wife who looked the other way. She stepped aside, letting his momentum carry him forward, watching him stumble. "Eleanor knew you'd never look there," she said, as police officers flooded in, "because you never saw us, the women in your life, as anything but decorations. That was your mistake." As they handcuffed him, David finally looked broken, not from losing his freedom or his reputation, but from realizing how completely he'd underestimated them all. Eleanor, Sarah, her. "Mom!" Lily called from where paramedics worked on Tom. "Is it really over?" She went to her, holding her close as they watched them lead David away. Through the window, dawn was breaking over the trees. She thought of Eleanor's letter, her final words making sense at last. "The truth doesn't always set us free, darling. Sometimes we have to free ourselves first." "Yes," Anna told Lily, feeling lighter than she had in years. "It's over, and we're just beginning." 6 months later, Anna stood in the newly renovated Eleanor Thompson Memorial Library, her fingers lightly grazing the spines of books that had once concealed her grandmother's hidden truths. The soft morning light filtered through tall windows, casting a warm glow on the brass nameplate beneath Eleanor's portrait. "Mom!" Lily's voice called out from the reading nook. "Mr. Henderson's here." The elderly professor was making his way through the shelves, leaning on his cane. "Quite a transformation," he remarked, taking in the surroundings. Eleanor would be proud. "She planned it all," Anna said, her thoughts drifting to the inheritance that had made this renewal possible. Every last detail. Tom emerged from the rare books room, his arm no longer in a sling. "Security systems are all in place, though I'm sure no one's hiding evidence in library books anymore." They exchanged a shared smile, memories of David's arrest still fresh. His criminal partners had all been apprehended, and their money laundering operation had been exposed. The properties were now being repurposed into community spaces, starting with this library. The door chimed, and Sarah entered, carrying yoga mats for her morning class. She was teaching free sessions in the community room, turning her past into something that would help heal others. "Actually," Anna said, drawing their attention, "there's something I need to show you first." She led them to Eleanor's reading room, where a package rested on her old desk. Inside was a journal which her lawyer had delivered that morning. "She wrote this the week before she died," Anna explained, opening to the marked page. It's not just about the evidence or David. It's about us, all the people she knew would help me when everything fell apart. Mr. Henderson nodded in understanding. The books we read, the people we trust, they're never random choices, are they? Lily picked up Rebecca, the book Mr. Henderson had gifted her from the hospital. Like this one, she said softly, glancing at the cover. It's about secrets, justice, and new beginnings, Tom added, his hand brushing Lily's. The morning yoga class began to trickle in, their voices echoing softly through the library. Sarah excused herself to teach, squeezing Anna's arm as she passed. They had all found their paths to healing, their ways to rebuild. You know, Lily said, studying Eleanor's portrait, I used to think revenge meant making someone hurt like they hurt you, but Grandma Eleanor understood something different, didn't she? Anna thought of David, locked away in prison, and of all the pain and secrets that had led them here. The best revenge is living well, she quoted from Eleanor's journal, but more importantly, living truthfully. As the group dispersed, Anna noticed an envelope tucked in the back cover of the journal, marked, "For the day after you think it's all over." She smiled, leaving it sealed for now. Eleanor had taught her that some mysteries were better left for another time. Today was for living in the light they had found, in the strength they had built together. The morning sun warmed the library's wooden floors, and somewhere, Anna knew, Eleanor was smiling.